Hello, and Merry Christmas. I apologize. I'm a minute or so late. I couldn't find my hat. I couldn't find my Christmas hat. Got to have the Christmas sparkles and bling. I'm here though, and I've got like all my Christmassy sparkly bling going on today. Merry Christmas. Hello and Merry Christmas. I am Silka. If you don't know me yet, I help people who've never painted before become confident artists with super easy step-by-step painting tutorials and personal coaching. And this one's gonna be a fun one today. Yay, we're gonna paint a gorgeous little gnome. I'm gonna show you how to paint this lovely little guy. Hello, Rach, lovely to see you here. Now, if you've always wanted to learn to paint, or you're just looking for a nice, easy, quick painting that's perfect for beginners, and fun to paint, and it's just something quick, this is it. This free tutorial today is for you. But before we get started, I've got I just want to tell you about my awesome shopping list of basic must-have supplies that I've put together, especially for new artists if you're painting, getting started. And the shopping list includes tips on where to shop to get best prices as well. It's going to make shopping for art supplies super quick and easy. Check it out on my website. There it is there. Scroll down a little bit and you will see it. Go grab that if you're new to painting. Now, Christmas. Oh, my goodness. What a crazy time of year it is, right? It's just, I don't know about you guys, but it's the time of year where it's so easy to just let the busyness of everything get in the way of just relaxing and just chilling out and getting some time to yourself and having a little fun. But I'm always so conscious that if we don't do things that make us happy often enough, all of that busyness will just drag us down, and that's no fun. Luckily, though, art and really quick painting tutorials have been proven by clever sciencey people to improve your happiness and your well-being. And that is why my business mission is to share the joy and healing of art. And that is why I offer easy to follow tutorials like this one so anyone can have fun painting and get all that relaxing, happy inducing benefits that being creative gives you. Even if you've never painted before, I make it all super easy. All right. Just like this one I'm sharing with you today. So I'm going to show you step by step how to paint this cute little gnome. All right. You can, just have fun creating it in your own colors if you want. You can follow my colors, but it's a lovely little colorful one that's going to look great on the mantelpiece. Hello, Diane was having issues getting in, but I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad you're here too. We're going to have some gnome painting fun today. It may not have been issues, Diane. I was a little bit late because I was looking for my hat. So today I'm going to share this colorful little masterpiece with you, little Christmas masterpiece. So you don't have to figure out anything. Just, skip straight to the painting fun. You don't have to worry about what to do, how to do it. Just we get straight in, get stuck in if you just follow my steps. Woohoo! Super easy. Easiest, most fun way to learn to paint. I'm going to give you the exact instructions from start to finish, and I'm going to show you how to create your very own gorgeous gnome painting, all right? And while you're having fun painting, you'll feel yourself relax, and I'm sure you'll be smiling at the end as well. Best of all, though, you don't even need many supplies to enjoy this tutorial, okay? I'll show you exactly what brushes and colors I'm using. Boom. Super easy, super fun, no thinking required. Just grab your brush and follow along. Easy fun, and you'll end up with a beautiful painting that you have created yourself, and it'll make you happy. Say hi. Let me know who's here, and if you're painting live with me today, or if you're going to paint on the replay. Now, all you need, 2 brushes, a smallish flat brush, all right? I've just got finger the size comparison there, a smallish flat brush and a small liner brush as well. Oh, that one's got a bit of staining on it, so it's hard to see. Still works, though. Tiny little liner brush and something to paint on, obviously. I'm painting on a nice little narrow canvas, but you can paint on any size you like and your favorite colors. You don't have to use the same colors as I am. You can use any colors you like. In fact, this one is actually perfect for painting lots of gnomes in different colors and doing different designs on your hat. They'll look fantastic if you put them under your tree, on your mantelpiece. Where's the other one? I mean, imagine if you had lots of different ones all next to each other under the tree or on the mantelpiece. How good would they look? Or just anywhere around the house. Imagine this little guy in your bathroom or something just going, surprise. And, of course, they will make great little gifts for people if you want to give them as a bit of Christmas cheer. So, and they'll love it because you painted it for them as well. So I'm going to be using, I've got a 10 by 30 canvas, but like I said, you can paint any size you want. If you've got a square canvas, do a couple of gnomes or 3 gnomes next to each other. And I'm using that 1/2 inch flat brush and a 1 inch liner brush. The colors I'm using today are cool red, deep green, warm yellow, and black and white. All right. But you can totally have fun picking your own colors. That's the joy of this one. You can do it in any colors you like. Now, whatever channel you're watching on today, be sure to subscribe or follow so you don't miss any new tutorials that I offer, all right? And if you're watching on YouTube, click that little notification bell so you know as soon as I do another one. Yay! All right, let's get painting. Too much talking. Let's get painting. Okay, let me just get you in the right place. Hi, Linda. Popping in, can't paint as the art room is bombshell, trying to sort Christmas. Wrapping paper everywhere, right? I know, my living room's the same. All right, so got my paint, got my canvas. Let me get this light back in the right place so we can see. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a pencil. We're going to sketch our gnome in first. Then we will add all our base colors, and then we will add all the details, and we'll clean everything up at the end with our black trim line. So don't worry if it gets a little messy. All right, so the first thing we want to do is paint his feet, and that gives us a base point of where he's at. All right, so right at the bottom, it's literally like 2 capital D's lying on their side. So we just put 2 little D's. You can make them as big or as small as you want, but make sure that when you position them, they're relatively in the middle of your canvas. All right, so we've just got 2 little fallen over D's. Doesn't matter how exact they are because we're going to paint over everything anyway. Next, we're going to pop his robe in. All right. So that is just a line a little bit higher up than the bottom of his feet, sort of in between the 2 there. And then we go a little bit further out on each side. And then we take our robe up. Now, you want to sort of think about, you want to leave most of the room for a bit of beard and a bit of hat. But you can make your gnome as tall or as skinny as you want. So I'm just going to go like so. And then we've got our robe there. Now we do a rough beard line, a very rough beard line, okay? Just going to pop this back here. Purely because we're going to paint all this in, and we'll probably paint over most of that beard line anyway. So we just want a rough outline of where our beard is going to go. All right. So that is very rough of where the beard goes. Okay. We'll paint the shape of it proper later, just to give you an idea of where it goes. And then we put the nose in. Okay, so right in the middle, put a nice happy nose, nice circular nose. Make sure you can see my lines are all right. There we go. There's this happy little gnomey nose. And then we're going to put the bottom of the hat line over. And I found that I did it a little better on the second one I did. Now, this is actually inspired by an actual mushroom. I will share the picture at some point, but I saw the mushroom. It was a National Geographic picture, and I was like, that looks like a gnome hat. Anyway, aside, I found that it looks a little bit interesting if the hat is uneven. So if it dips down on one side, it just makes it look a little more playful. So when you're painting the brim of your hat in, just sort of dip one side down lower than the other. And we paint that line across, okay? Like so. Cool. And then we're going to go right to the top. Now, the reason we do that is because if we start here and we don't quite get the shape right, we may not leave room for our bauble. So we're going to put the bauble in next. We're going to decide where we want them, the bauble, that is, and put our circle in, okay? And then from there, we can then do the point of the hat and go the other way down, all right? So we want to curve down this side and meet up with our trim line at the bottom. So we start with the outside line so that we make sure that there's enough room on the outside of our canvas, that we leave space on the outside, and we get the hat gets a bit fatter as you go further down, okay? So that's that line there. And then we do the inside line. Now, keeping in mind that the hat gets fatter as you go, wider, I should probably say wider as you go down. So, yeah. So there we have our sketched gnome. Now, if you want to make the hat wider or anything, use your eraser, change your lines if you want to. Now's the time to do that. But the rest of the hat, the patterns and stuff, we will add on later. All right, so you don't want to, we're going to paint the green hat first and then paint the details on top. And I've just decided I do want it a bit wider because I want a little bit more room for detail underneath. So if you may have noticed, I just pushed my palette underneath when I did that with the eraser, and that's to stop the eraser shavings falling in the paint, because you just get big chunky lumps in your paint. Nobody wants chunky paint. All right, last thing to do is our horizon line where you want our snow. Now, we don't want it to go where the beard is because it will actually blend in with the white of the beard. So we want it to be lower and where the robe is, so that there's a bit of contrast where the robe is. All right, cool. And if you're watching and painting with us live today, let me know in the comments when you're ready to start painting. Give me a thumbs up. Hello, Deborah. Nice to see you here as well. Thanks for joining us. I can see I've got a bit of a reflection going on here. What's that one from? There. No, there. Sorry about that reflection. So give me a thumbs up or a... There isn't... Do you know there is no gnome emoji? I'm so disappointed about that. I wonder if we could petition to get one. Give us any Christmas emoji or a Christmas tree or a thumbs up if you're ready to start painting. And we will get going. I'll let you finish your sketching first. Now, this is a super quick, easy painting I'm showing you today. I just wanted to share something quick. So, you know, if you're busy, it's still nice and easy to just fit in some creative time and get some fun time to yourself painting your gnome. So if this is the first time you're watching, you'll see in a minute the way that I teach is super easy to follow and anyone can do it. And you don't need any experience, just a willingness to have a go and the ability to hold a paintbrush and follow instructions. All right, that's all you need to be able to paint any of my paintings. Now I'm going to be using Christmas colors today, red and green, but like I said, you can use any colors you like. We're going to paint the base colors of our hat first, and then we're going to add the detail when it's all dry. Okay, now let me just see the comments there. I'm going to now I know there's a slight delay between when I say stuff and when you hear it, but I'm guessing you're all ready to paint now. So I'm going to start with, oh, Rachel's ready to paint. Lovely. I'm going to start with a 1/2 inch. I've got a 1/2 inch flat brush here. So this nice flat edge makes it a little bit easier to get clean lines. So I'm going to start with my 1/2 inch flat brush. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix a slightly lighter green. All right. Now, I've got a deep green here. Depending on what green you've got, you may actually have an all right. You might actually have an all right color. Okay, hang on. I'm just seeing some strange comments coming up. Bear with me for a second while I just delete and ban that person. That's not in the Christmas spirit. Bear with me for a second. Well, I find it first. Hang on, I'm in Paint Club. I need to go to Heart for Art. Hold up a second. Oh, we'll get to the painting in a moment. I just got to make sure that that person is... I can't actually see the comments. Okay, well, I'm going to leave them there and hope none of you are offended because I don't want anyone to be sharing private photos. I hope you can just ignore that, and I will go back later and delete. All right, so we're going to start with a green, and a lot of colors are actually a little bit transparent when you use them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of white to the green so that that transparency is a little bit overlaid. We'll put a tiny little dip of white in my green, make it a little bit lighter, and because I want the color to be a little bit warmer, I'm going to add a little bit of yellow as well. But whatever green color you've got, greens are a little bit transparent, so you decide how dark or how light or how yellow you want it. Entirely up to you, and it really does not matter what colors you use. All right, so I'm just going to use my brush using the flat edge of it. Makes it nice and easy to just get a nice beautiful curve into that hat there. And it really doesn't matter if you don't get a perfect edge, because what we're going to do is we're going to paint the night sky over it later. So as long as you get it roughly in the right place, you're all good. We put a nice good coverage on with this 1/2 inch brush or whatever brush you're using. And I'm going to fill the whole space in first. I'm going to fill the whole space in first. And then I'm going to do the brush strokes in the direction I want. So generally the last brush stroke you do is you know, what will end up looking, the direction of the brush stroke will look. So I've filled the whole thing in, and I want to just get the brush strokes going horizontal. So I'm just going to do a little short strokes horizontal, a little short curve, slightly curved strokes horizontally, and that'll just make it look a little bit more like fabric. All right, so that's just your finishing off once you've got your green in there. Okay, like so. And that's our hat. I'm going to let that dry. Don't worry about your clean edges. Like I said, as long as you've got most of your hat filled in, we're going to clean those edges up later. All right, so we're going to let that dry, and we're going to put the detail on later. Okay, so I'm going to pop that brush in water. Hang on, let me see if I can just delete these comments. Block user, there we go. Sorry about those comments that have come up that are not at all in the spirit of Christmas. I have now blocked that user. I just realized I could do that. So this is all about painting and fun, and all clean, good fun. All right, so we're going to paint his nose next. I'm switching to a little number 1 brush. So a tiny little number 1 brush. And we're going to mix nose color. And by that I mean skin color. Well, gnome skin color even. And I'm going to use that white. I'm going to start with a little bit of white. Now, you don't need much, all right? It's not that big a nose. So I'm just going to take a little bit of white, and we're going to add a tiny smidge of red and a tiny smidge of yellow, all right? Now, when you're mixing your colors, if you're doing this for the first time, you just want to do little dips of each color and add them in. If you do too much, then it'll go too far, and you'll have to put more white in again. So it's easier to add little dips at a time. A little bit of yellow and a little bit of red, and that way you can control. So you can see there I just put too much red in. If you do little bits at a time, I dipped a bit deep, then it's easier to control your blending. So I need to put a bit more white in to dull that back again. So you start with white, a little bit of red to go get that pinkish flesh tone, and a little bit of yellow just to warm it up a little bit. All right, and then you should have a nice lovely gnome nose color. And then all we do is just paint our gnome nose in little circular motions up to our pencil lines. You don't have to go over your pencil lines, because obviously we're going to put that black trim in later on. So we have a nose. All right, so I'll let you just catch up on that. Give me somebody give me a thumbs up when you're ready, and then we will paint our beards in. We're going to use the same brush to paint that beard in. So when you've done your nose, give your brush a bit of a clean, and it's really important to dry your brush as well. because if you don't, any water that's in that brush, the next time you put pressure on your canvas, that water will be pushed out and dribble down your canvas, and it'll look like your gnome's crying. No, we want happy gnomes today. Okay. We're going to paint our bed next. I love this bit. We've just, in Paint Club, we just painted Santa with a big flowing beard, and it was so cool to paint. Actually, I've got him here. I can show you. Actually, I need to go and check how many more Santa paint. Look at Santa. We painted Santa in Paint Club. Beautiful, big flowing beard, big hat. We just got a Christmas theme going on this week. That's a Paint Club painting. But today we're painting gorgeous gnomes also with beards. So it's been a Christmassy and a beardy theme this week. All right. I'm not seeing any comments coming through. I hope they're still coming. Or I hope there's not a glitch happening today. I'm going to carry on, but somebody let me know that, just let me know that you're able to do comments still. We're going to paint our bed. We're going to use white, and we're going to use the number 1 brush again. Oh God, Deborah's ready. Lovely. We are still getting comments. Our number 1 brush, and we're going to use white, mostly white, and a very tiny little dip of black. All right. We're going to use short overlapping strokes. So load your brush with white. All right. Oh, thanks, Rach. Good to know it's all okay. And we're just going to, now this is where I'm painting white on white, and it's going to be difficult for you to see. So I'm going to bring it a little bit closer. We're painting downward strokes, and we're going to go on the curvature of the beard. All right. And you're not going to be able to see a whole lot until I put little dips of white in, but we're just going to fill up his beard essentially. Paint down, I'm painting up because it's easier from this angle right by the camera. But you're going to load the brush and let the brush sort of leave ridges of paint. So if you have a look, you can see there's actual ridges of paint starting to happen there because I'm putting the paint on nice and thick. All right. So keep doing that till we fill up his beard space, allowing the ridges to show up. Just little short strokes, overlapping. Go right as close to his nose and the bottom of the hat as you can. We'll clean that up with a trim line later. And just fill in that whole space, letting those ridges of paint appear. Now, once you've done that, without cleaning your brush, we take the tiniest little dip of black. All right? Like teeny tiny little dip of black. All right? You do not need much at all. Okay? And then we just pull that into, you'll see that it overwhelms it very, very quickly. Don't be alarmed. All right. We just pull that into the paint and keep using the brush to blend that slightly into, go over a little bit, and we slowly blend it back till it becomes a gray. And it'll combine with the white to create some gray strokes, some white strokes, or rather beard fluff, and just allow it to blend. So you can see how that's really, really softened back once I've gone over it a few times. So just keep doing that, but very, very small dips of black. Okay, black is, okay, not that small. I missed. Did I keep missing? Okay, very, very small dips of black, because black is really overpowering, and we just want to sort of create a hint of the gray, and we want to keep a little bit of the white as well. So I've got the tiniest 2 little dips of black, and we just keep overlapping our little strokes till we create our little gnome. And this is where, if you want to change the shape of your beard, if you want to make it a bit wider, this is where you can now do that. And we just keep overlapping and doing that. If you've gone a bit too dark and you've got a bit too much gray on your beard, then you can put a bit more white on. But what you don't want to do is overblend. You can see that each brush stroke is showing there. If I were to keep going, it would all flatten back and just be one flat gray. And we actually want the brush strokes to show, because that's what gives the texture of the beard. All right. So once you've got it looking great, make sure to stop. Okay. All right. I'll let you finish your beards off. Let me know if you need any help or have any questions so far. But essentially I teach, if you've not painted with me before, I teach all of my paintings this way. Really simple, easy to follow steps. Even the bigger paintings like the Santa, for example, or I don't know if you can see the horse in the background here. All of these paintings, I teach a ton of different paintings, and they're all taught exactly the same way. I tell you what brush to use, what stroke to use, every single step along the way, because I want, I want everybody to be able to enjoy the experience of painting. So even though the bigger ones might look a bit harder, they're actually not, right? It's purely because your brain is actually hardwired to make decisions for us, our brains. And if we don't have all the information, your brain just goes the shortest route. And, if it looks at a finished painting and it doesn't know how to paint it, your brain automatically decides it's too hard, or I could never do that. And you miss all the fun. All my paint club members and my students, they've realized that you don't need to know how it's done. You just need someone to show you, like I'm showing you today. And then you realize that it's actually not hard at all. And the only difference between the little paintings and the big paintings is that the big paintings just have a few more steps. But you still, same process, you just follow my steps and you end up with a beautiful painting. And we will end up with beautiful little gnomes today. All right. So on to the next step. We're going to clean our brush and dry our brush as well. And we're going to paint robe now. I'm going to go for Christmas colors red, but you can do yours any color you like. And this is really simple. We just lots of short little strokes, and we're going to do them in rough, random little directions just to make it look a little bit more like fabric. We're going to paint up to the bottom of his beard. You don't have to get too close because remember we're going to put a black line in there. But we're going to just fill in that whole robe space. Is that what gnomes wear, robes? I've just been calling it a robe. Do gnomes have special gnome clothes or names for gnome clothes? I don't know. So I'm just doing it. I'll fill it all in and then I'll show you. But I'm doing tiny little short strokes in different directions just to give my robe a little bit of texture. So it's not all, all the brush strokes aren't going in the same direction. Lovely. So you can see there, all my brush strokes are going in different directions, so later it'll look a little bit more like fabric that's just nice and fluffy and warm. So we're up to the bottom of the beard and over his shoes. All right. And with that same red, once you've done that, we're going to put the bauble in. But again, you can paint your bauble any color you like. I'm just going to do little circular strokes, nice and easy, to fill that bauble in. We're going to put a trim line around it later, and we're going to put the details on it later. Easy peasy. And the next step is super easy too. We're going to clean our brush. And we're going to put his shoes on. He's currently got no shoes. We're going to put his shoes on next. And I'm going to do mine in yellow, but again, you can do yours in any color you like. And all I'm doing is grabbing a little bit of yellow and just painting his shoes. 2 shoes. Right up to the red. We're going to trim line them later, so it really doesn't matter how clean your lines are. So now he's got warm feet. Yay. Cool, because he's standing in snow, so he needs warm feet. All right. Next thing we're going to do is paint our details on our hat. So you need to check that your hat is dry, all right? If your green is still wet and we try to paint white over the top, you will actually, the 2 colors will still blend, all right? So we'll clean our brush and then we'll give our gnome hat a blow dry. There's something I never thought I'd say. Because we want to paint over the top rather than blend with the color that is there. All right. So the way to check that, if you've not painted with me before, is my shiny wobble test. Highly technical. You basically hold your painting in the light and you wobble it and you can see, hang on, I've got to get the right angle. Where's the right angle? There it is. There it is. The angle. You can see where it's, if it's shiny, you see how that's all nice and shiny, the hat there, that is still wet, okay? If it's not shiny anymore, that means it's dry. So it's the easiest way to check if it's dry or not. Now, human instinct is to touch it to see if it's dry. Problem with that is if it's not dry, you're going to leave a nice big fingerprint on your painting, okay? I'm just going to mute you while I dry my hat so it's not too loud. All right. Okay, so it's only the hat when you dry at the moment, or if you're worried about smudging anything, then dry the rest as well. It's not a big painting this time. So when we're painting detail stuff like this, oh, where's my brush gone? There it is. I'll put it over here. When we're painting little details like this, I mean, they're not that little, but when you're painting details or lines or anything, and you want to get thinner lines, the easiest way to do that is to thin your paint a little bit, all right? So I'm just going to dip my brush in water, and I'm going to thin my white paint a little bit. That makes it a little bit more fluid and just makes it a little bit easier to control, all right? You can then do thinner lines, and you're not getting big blobby, big blobs of paint. You're not getting dry edges. You get nice clean lines, all right? So just a dip or two in water. You don't want to go too thin so that it runs down your canvas, but just fluid enough that you get a bit of control back. And then what you want to do, you'll see that I've still got big blobs on my brush, is what I call my twirl and pull. So we hold our brush parallel to the palette and we twirl and pull, and that will take most of the paint off your brush and leave you a nice clean tip. And that's going to give you a much cleaner line to work with and a cleaner brush to work with. All right. Now I'm going to actually, oh no, I've got this one here. I'll just show you the difference between brush pressure and how you can get thicker and thinner lines. This is my practice canvas, and I highly recommend, if you want to practice, get an old canvas. This one's been painted over many times, and just when it's full, paint over it again and you can reuse it. So I've got my white paint now. If you want to get really thin lines, it's just a very small amount of pressure with the very tip of your brush. All right, so you can see I've got a nice thin line there. If you want a thicker line, you push a little bit harder. And then really thick line, mega pressure on your brush. So the thickness of your line depends on the pressure of your brush. The less pressure with the very tip of your brush, you get a nice thin line, all the way through to a little bit more pressure with a thinner line. So do practice on something else. If you have something else there, even just a bit of cardboard or paper is fine if you don't have a practice canvas. We're going to add the details on our hat now. So using this, we're going to grab some paint, do that twirl and pull, and we're going to start with some dots on the bottom of his hat. Now we are going to put a black trim line there, so make sure to not go too low. And we're literally just doing a little dot with the tip of our brush. You can do thicker ones or smaller ones if you want to. I'm going to do reasonably large ones now. Yay! First details on the hat on. Cuteness. And then we can start adding all the other lines. Now again, this is where the pressure of your brush comes in. Now you don't have to worry about going past. All right, if you paint over the edge of the hat, it doesn't matter, because we're going to put night sky there later. So any overlaps onto the white will be covered, well, will disappear under the cover of darkness, essentially. We'll put this on top there. So now we just continue, and you can do any patterns you like. I'm going to do some zigzags now, and again, I'm just using the very tip of my brush. Nice light touch. Then I can add some zigzags, and then I'll put some dots in between those. But you can put stars, you can put anything you like. This is where this painting is super fun, because you can just get really creative and have some fun with the designs. I'm going to do a thicker line this time. I'll just thicken that one up. And it's all really simple. So simple. Now for a Christmas tree, we're going to do a line of Christmas trees now. It's essentially just a tall triangle. All right. So we do a tall triangle, and then we put a stem on it with a nice light touch. Easy, right? Yay. Then we do another tall triangle. We do a few tall triangles next to each other. Don't forget to move the shape of the hat, that, you know, there's a bit of curvature in your hat. So don't forget to allow for that so they're not all too straight. Lovely. We got some Christmas trees. And then we just keep going. I'll put another stripe in. You can put some stars on. I'm going to do some more dots. And we keep going until we get to the top. Some more Christmas trees. I'm just doing the design that I've already done. But this is something you can really have fun with. If you're painting with kids, I'm sure they will have the most amazing imaginations and come up with the coolest designs. Not to say that adults can't get cool designs as well, but kids have awesome imagination. So I'm sure that if you're painting with kids, you'll end up with beautiful, beautiful gnome designs. Oh, and I've got a heart here. Nice, easy little heart. Remembering just the pressure of your brush. If you put too much pressure on your brush, you will get a thicker line. If you don't, if you don't want one, then just do a nice light touch with your brush. And I'm just about at the top. There we go. Yay! I might put some more dots there just because. Cool. So we've got our hats filled in with a little bit of colour. Once we've done that, we're going to pop that brush back in the water. I'll give you a second to finish that up. And we're going to switch back to our 1/2 inch brush when you're ready. Mine's still got green paint on it. Let me know when you're ready to move on to the next step once you've got your hat filled in with all your detail, and we will move on to the next step. When you're ready, I'm going to clean my 1/2 inch brush. Now, if you're painting for the first time and you've got new brushes, don't mash your brushes on the bottom of your whatever you're using to clean them, because that will actually splay all your bristles apart and wreck your brushes, and we don't want to do that. So we just, give it a tap. If you're going to tap it on the bottom, do it on a diagonal. And then, of course, make sure that your brush is nice and dry. I just give my brush a squeeze between a old towel that I've got, and that way we don't get any moisture on our canvas that we don't want. All right. How are we doing? We good to go? Give us a thumbs up if you're good to go. I'm not sure how many of you are painting today, so I'm not sure how many to wait for, but I'll wait for one thumbs up. I'll have a drink while I wait, and then we'll carry on. It's actually pouring with rain here. The week before Christmas, it's supposed to be summer here, and it's it's struggling to join us. It is warm though. It is a lot warmer, but it's raining. It's been raining here. Not so summery at all. All right, Rach is good to go. Thanks, Rach, for letting me know. We are going to put our snow in next. Now, the same way that we painted our beard and left a bit of rough edges around our brush stroke, we're going to do the same. Don't know if you can see that on there. We're going to do the same with our snow. All right, we're going to paint our snow in. What you want to do is load your brush, get loads of paint on your brush, and we're going to paint snow. And again, I'm painting white on white, so it's difficult to see. So I'm going to exaggerate what I'm doing. And you can see there we've got some nice bumps in our snow, and that'll just make it look like snowdrifts and things. So we're going to paint up to our horizon line with our snow, and we're going to purposefully just do lots of little bumpy textures to strokes to make it look like, snowdrifts. And we're going to go right up to his feet, up to his robe, and all the way up to our horizon line. And we're going to do lots of little bumps and just really load our brush nice and thick to give our snow a little bit of texture. All right, so I'll show you there. So you can see that I've got it nice and thick and these little bumps and ridges in my snow. All right. I'm just going to turn him around and do the other side. And this is where, if you've got a nice thick edge on your canvas, I've got a nice thick edge, this is where it's always quite nice to just keep going and paint all the way around your edges. All right, so we fill that whole space in on the side and then also on the other side. Okay, so we continue the painting. And this one's fun because it's got lots of stars and stuff in it. So we just continue the painting around the edges, and you'll see here I've gone all the way around, and it just makes it a little bit more fun. Cool. So that's our snow. Now don't go above, you can clean up your horizon line, make it a bit bumpy if you want to, paint over your pencil lines, but don't go above the top of his rose, otherwise it'll blend with the beard. We want to separate. We want to keep them separated, so to speak, if anyone knows that song. Once you've done that, we're going to dry our snow because we'll paint our night sky next. We're going to put our night sky in, and we don't want it to blend with when we come up to our snow. And it's also just a little bit easier if you want to pick up your canvas that you're not going to accidentally get snow on your hands, so to speak. So once you've painted your snow, dry your painting, especially your snow, essentially. So that, and if there's anything wet still, we don't want our black to pick that up as we go. So I'm just going to put you on mute again and dry my painting. Okay. Snow is dry, so to speak. Next thing we're going to do, that same brush, we're going to use black, and we're going to put our night sky around our gnome. So I'm just going to give my brush a clean because I've got white on it. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a clean and a dry, of course. And using that 1/2 inch flat brush again, or whatever brush you've got, we're going to paint our sky around our gnome, stopping obviously at our horizon line. So this is where you want to use your brush at the angle to get that nice, on the like this kind of angle, to get that nice clean edge. And we want to cover our canvas or paper so there's no white showing through. All right, so we just grab a bit of black. Now, if you're left-handed or right-handed, paint from one side to the other, whatever's easiest for you. And you want to load your brush. Black is it does cover pretty well. But some paints can be a little bit transparent. So make sure that when you're painting, all the paint generally sits on the belly of the brush, the side of the brush. So if you're finding that your paint's not going on very well, hold your brush more parallel to your canvas and you'll find that more goes on. All right. So I'm just going to use my brush, use the square edge of my brush to get a nice edge around here. And this is where we can clean up the whole edges of our hat. Lovely. And one foul swoop. Well, not foul, one clean sweep. That's probably a nice way to say it. And we're filling in that whole edge. And you want to just rotate your canvas if it's easier for you. I like to paint into a line, so that's me being quiet because I'm concentrating. I like to paint into a line, so I will turn my canvas over in a second to do the other side. I just find it more comfortable, whatever you're comfortable with. All right, now when you get to the beard, You don't have to go too close. Get as close as you can, roughly, because we are going to come back and put those black trim lines in. So you don't have to worry too much about getting a clean edge there either. We're going to come back and put those in. All right. Now I'm going to rotate my canvas just because I find that easier. And same again, we're going to go right up to the horizon line. Make sure the horizon line isn't too straight because snow isn't completely, I mean, unless it falls completely calmly on a completely calm day, which I have seen, then it's flat. But generally snow is a little bit lumpy, so put a few lumps in. All right. Now, if you're getting to the smaller parts of your hat and you find it easier with a smaller brush, then by all means leave the trickier parts and we can come back to those, you know, the little I mean the square edge of the brush is really nice. That's why I like these flat brushes. Sometimes we just use the square shape of the brush to get into these little corners. All right, we can get right in there. But if you find it a little bit tricky with this big brush, we can come back and finish those trickier spots off with a smaller brush in a minute. So I'll leave a little bit there so we can come back and finish that off. And just check the direction of your brush strokes. If there's any that are just looking a bit odd or if there's any really obvious ones, just sort of go over those with the belly of your brush to the canvas so that it puts more on and you can't see it. And of course, now we want to go around the sides of our canvas. So this is where you sort of grab your painting by the frame. Yeah, and we can just fill in that whole side as well. Not the most exciting paint demo right now with just black on the side, but we'll add some stars in here later, and painting the sides will just give it a little bit more dimension as well. And it's going to look so cute sitting on your mantelpiece or underneath your Christmas tree. Or whoever you give it to if you're painting these to give to someone. I mean, if you've got nieces and nephews or grandkids or, you know, anything like that, they will just love getting a cute little gnome, wouldn't they? Yay. And if you painted like 3 or 4 of them and set them under the tree, all in different colors with different designs on their hats, oh, please do send a photo if you do that because it would look so cool, I'm sure. I don't actually have a Christmas tree up here purely because I am going to be with my family for Christmas. So the Christmas tree is there. I mean, actually, that's not true. There is one in the studio. We've had some private Christmas parties here. There is one in the studio. Actually, there's two little ones, 2 very arty ones. All right. So I've got all my black done. I've gone around the sides and I'm just checking that there's no obvious brush strokes that look out of place, and I'm just getting nice coverage of my black around my gnome. I've done the tops and the sides. I've got good coverage, and if you've got any trickier bits left, we can just switch to the little round number 1 brush again. And we can just get those little trickier bits with that little brush. Whatever's more comfortable for you, use the brush that you're comfortable with. Now we are going to come back and put a white trim around our bauble. So again, you don't have to be too perfect with your painting around your bauble. So now we're going to move on to putting our black trim lines on. So all our black trim lines that we've got here. So you do want to just make sure that your beard and your robe and your shoes are dry as well. So we can put those trim lines on. So we're going to start with the bottom of the hat. Since we're still on black, we're going to just, again, same principle as before. If you want to have a bit more control over your paint, if it's going on a bit thick and blobby, just dip your brush in water and thin your paint a little bit. The more fluid the paint is, the easier it is to control, and then do that twirl and pull and you'll get a nice tip on your brush, and that'll make it a lot easier to put your trim lines in. And again, nice light touch with the tip of your brush way over his nose. There we go. Now, if you're one of these people that likes to lean on their canvas when they're doing this, just dry your black first, and then you can put a finger on your canvas or anywhere else, even on the side, and just use that as a pivot point to stabilize yourself. All right. So we've just gone on the bottom of his nose, bottom of his hat over his nose, rather. Now we'll go around his nose nice and quick. Once around, there we go. Yeah, he's got a nose. And now we'll clean up his beard. We'll give his beard a little bit of a trim. All right. So again, just if you want a nice thin line, twirl and pull, get most of the paint off your brush. So this is where, if there's any white still of the canvas showing, this is where we can cover that up. And we're just going to sort of do a few little curves, small curves into the beard, just to give it a little bit more shape. So you can see I've just done, oh, okay, that's wet. Oh, the bottom, I left the bottom dry so I could pick it up. Yes. So you can see I've just put some little details into the beard. So I'll do the same on the other side. Make sure they're not too even so that your beard is not completely evenly shaped, because otherwise it'll just look a bit unnatural. Although some people do take a lot of pride in their beards and they are perfectly evenly trimmed. Okay, so now we've got the edges of his beard on. Lovely. Now we carry on around the robe. We've just got 2 lines down the side, one down the left and one down the right. And of course round his shoes. Now his beard is dry, so I can lean on his beard and I can use that to stabilize my hand. We just, again, nice light touch with our paintbrush. We just paint around his shoes. A little bit more paint. If you're going to lean on your canvas like this to stabilize, make sure you're not putting your finger anywhere that's wet, because the next time you put your hand on the canvas, you'll transfer that paint. Okay, so we've done his robe, we've done his shoes, we're good to go. Yay! So next step, we're going to put our sky, our stars on, and a few little details. So we need our sky to be dry. All right. So give that brush a clean. We're going to use that again next. And once again with the hairdryer, I'll put you on mute so you don't have to listen to me drying paint. Right, now this is where you will see where you didn't put the paint on as thick as you did other places. Once the paint is dry, you can see there are some sections where you can actually see a little bit of canvas still showing through. It's much easier to put a little bit of extra paint on now than it is to try and paint around your stars later. So if you have got any bits like that, just grab your brush again, your little 1/2-inch brush, make sure it's clean and dry, and just put a little bit more on where those any obvious brush strokes are. If you don't do this, it's not a big deal, but it might bother you later. And like I said, it's a lot easier to do it now than it is to paint around your stars later. So we just touch up any areas that are looking a bit thin. And it doesn't mean you've done it wrong. It just means that the paint's gone on a little bit thinner in that spot, and it's not a big deal. Cool. Good. And then, of course, we need to give it another dry. So let me mute you again. And this is a good example of showing you the shiny wobble test. So you can see all of the bits that are shiny there are still wet and all the rest is dry. So it's really easy to see there. It's the quickest, easiest way to see what's still wet. So let me mute you. Hi, Brenda. Brenda's just got home. We catch up Nomi later. He's looking great. How is fun? Oh, I can't wait to see your gnomes. He's nice, quick, and easy one to do. All right. Now we are going to do the same as we did with the black, but do our white trims around our bauble. So clean brush, little liner brush with our thinned white paint, if you've got any left. And we're just going to do a nice little white line, literally very light touch, white line around our bauble. And it's actually quite nice if your line isn't perfectly thick and thin, you know, exactly right. It's nice if it varies a little bit. And then we just add a little reflection line. All right, so we just want to, inside our bauble, we just do one sort of short curve and one smaller one, and that's just our little reflection lines. Nice and easy there. Yay. And now we do the same as we did the dots on the hat, just a little bigger this time. I might need a little bit more snow. We're going to put our snow on because it's currently awesome weather there and we want them to be frolicking in the snow. So I'm just getting my white and I'm thinning it a little bit so that it goes on nice and easy. And we literally just do little circular motions with our brush. And we do some bigger, we do some smaller, and we just space them all, you know, unevenly apart because snow falls completely randomly. Oops, sorry, that was off screen. So some big, some little, some medium, some really big. And we literally make sure that it's not at all evenly spaced, that it's all completely random, some off the side. And we just keep going, filling in. You decide how heavy the snowfall is. If you want more snow, put a few more there, but do some bigger and smaller, and that way it just gives a little bit of depth perception as well, you know, that some of the snowflakes are further away and some of them are closer. And now I know he's frolicking in the snow. Yay. I love snow. I absolutely love snow. I'm a snow bunny from way back. There's just something so magical about snowy mountains and just snow falling, and it brings out the kid in me every single time. And of course I love skiing, so that doesn't hurt either. But one of my favoriteest sounds in the world, I've got three favorite sounds. If you painted with me before, I may have shared them before. My one favorite sound that I love is the sound of rain on an umbrella. It's just such a calming noise, you know. I mean, not on a windy, gusty day or anything, you know, when it's a nice, soft, calm rain. I just find it really calming and relaxing listening to the raindrops land on the umbrella. Second favorite sound is new snow. When you're walking on new snow, and that crunching noise, the crunch noise the snow makes as you walk over it. I love that sound. It's just such a cool sound. Yay. And of course it means that I'm near a mountain, near snow, and that makes me super happy as well. And for those paying attention, I did say three favorite sounds. My third favorite sound at this time of year especially is the sound of a champagne cork popping. Bop, because that means bubbles time. Woohoo! Okay, don't forget to the top as well. Yay. And just like that, we have our lovely festive gnome frolicking in the snow. Yay! And don't forget to be proud of your work. There's plenty of room down the bottom if you want to put your autograph. Use that same brush to paint and put your signature on, because then the person that you're giving it to, if you're giving it away, will be so pleased to have an autographed thing especially for that person. Why is that person back again? Oh gosh, there's some not so nice comments coming up on this. It's not letting me block that person. Okay, I'm going to have to go in and clean up those comments. So sorry about those. But yes, hopefully you've had fun with that. Yay! Now that we're done, if you're painting with me for the first time, you've just seen how super easy painting is. And you might be excited. You want to paint another one? Oh, yes, so that your gnome has a friend. Paint another one. Yay. Paint them in different colors. So I've got a nice little collection of gnomes now. Paint them in different colors, different designs. Have some fun. Paint loads of gnomes. Yay. I believe that there needs to be way more art in the world, not just because painting makes you happy, but also just to add a bit more color in the world, and a bit more happiness, especially, with all that's going on in the world at the moment. It's all a bit heavy sometimes. So, I just think of how my heart smiled when I saw my gorgeous little gnome finish the first time. And every time I see him and his mate, they just make me smile. Yay. It made me so happy. So my goal is to share that happy heart lifting vibe by sharing, this happy little painting with you today. So I hope, if you haven't painted already, if you have painted, I hope it made you happy. And if you haven't painted, I hope it's going to make you happy while you paint. Lift your heart, when you look at it later as well, and just bring a bit of color and happiness into the world for others to enjoy too, especially if you're gifting your gnome. Yay. So I hope you enjoyed that. I know I did. I loved sharing this cute little happy gnome with you today. So we've had some fun painting gnomes. Now I would love, love, love to see your gnomes as well. And I'm sure other people would love to see them too. So pop a picture of your gnome below this live. Just take a quick photo, hold them up, smile if you want to, or just your gnome, and pop them in the post and put them in a comment underneath this live. Let's see how many different gnomes we can share, how many different designs and colors, and let's just really brighten things up and bring some Christmas gnomey cheer to the news feed. Yay. Now today I showed you that if you have someone showing you all the steps, you can totally learn to paint anything. You could be missing all the fun and enjoyment of painting and all the healing benefits. Or you could be like my students and my paint club members and just follow along with my steps and have fun creating gorgeous paintings. And I make it super easy to do, just that, like that, with step-by-step tutorials. All right. So now that you just need to follow my steps to paint, you may be thinking, oh my gosh, that was so much fun. What can I paint next? Now, if you're not in paint club, and you're ready and you're excited to try a slightly larger painting with a bit more detail, I've got tons and tons of colorful, easy painting tutorials to choose from. They're all step-by-step, just like we did today, and they all come with a supply list, so you won't even have to figure out what you need. All right. I've done it all for you. Boom, easy. Yay. You just got to choose what you'd like to create and you'll get everything straight to your inbox. Yay. Then all you have to do is watch the video tutorial, and follow my easy steps. And before you know it, you will have your very own masterpiece to hang on the wall. Oh, hi, Christine. Good to see you here as well. Merry Christmas to you as well. Oh, she's had fun painting. Cool. Yay. So if you're ready to paint something a little bit larger, like the horse, for example, I've just put Tony's pony online. He's called Happy Horse. He's a brand new one. I painted him for my Uncle Tony. That's why I call him Tony Pony. That's the unofficial name. But Tony's Pony and the Happy Horse is there. There's loads of other ones. Go check them out. heartforart.co.nz. Look for on demand in the menu and you will find them. And while you're there, if you'd like to know when I'm going to do another tutorial like this, make sure to get on my mailing list as well, and you will be the first to know when I'm going to be sharing my next tutorial online. And you'll also get a ton of creative inspiration and painting tips and tutorials and loads more stuff to your inbox. So pop over here, and the banner at the top of my webpage is where you can sign up for that. And I've got a special treat for you today as a thank you. If you're not already on the mailing list, as a thank you for joining, I'm going to give you a $10 off any of my on-demand tutorials. Yay! So you can paint Tony's pony, $10 off. Awesome. A Merry Christmas to you too, Deb. Yay. Love paint. That was really fun. Love my gnome. Grandkids want to do one tomorrow too. Yay. Oh, do share them in the post. I'd love to see your grandkids as gnomes. Awesome. Yay. Yay indeed, says Diane. Awesome. All right. Thanks for watching. I if you've enjoyed that, and like I said, you want more painting fun, there's 3 things you need to do now. First is to pass the fun on. We want to share art joy with everybody. So if there's anyone else you know, like grandkids, for example, Deb's already onto it. Anyone else you know who would love to paint gnomes too, do tell them about this tutorial, share it, like it, forward it, whatever, paint it with them, even more fun. Then do tell them about this tutorial. And let's spread loads of Christmas gnome joy with heaps of people. Let's see gnomes popping up everywhere. They do that, don't they? They pop up everywhere. So that's the first thing, is pass this on and share it with people. The second thing is to head over to my website, heartforart.co.nz, and get yourself on my mailing list if you're not already, to grab yourself a $10 off my on-demand tutorials. Now that's doesn't matter how many you get, each of them will have $10. You get them for $10 off. Yay. So if you grab 3 tutorials, you get $30 off. Woohoo. And of course, you will be the first to hear about any new paintings, tutorials, and you will not miss a thing of all the arty goodness that's coming. So over to my website, there's a banner at the top to join the mailing list. Awesome. Third thing, while you're there, go and check out the on-demand tutorials in the menu. They're all easy, gorgeous paintings you could paint with me, showing you how. You'll get that video tutorial and a supply list with all your colors and brushes that you need as well. Easy, fun, yay. You'll have a ton of fun creating more paintings, and with the holidays coming up, awesome. Awesome time to get creative, and you'll be adding loads of colorful happiness to your world as well, and you'll be helping me share joy and healing of art with you and the world too. Awesome. So lots of gnomes, lots of paintings, lots of color. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope there's beautiful gnomes popping up everywhere. I cannot wait to see them. Yay. And I hope to see you behind a paintbrush again very, very soon. Thank you so much for joining me. Merry Christmas, everybody. Bye from me and the gnomes. Yay. See ya.